So in this type of questions, we are dealing with composite functions. So f of x is given as 1 minus 1 by x. You are asked to find f of 1 by x. So how do we solve this? So first, f of x is 1 minus 1 by x. So what is f of 1 by x? You just need to put 1 by x in the place of x. That is 1 minus 1 by 1 by x. That is nothing but 1 minus x. So f of 1 by x is equal to f of 1 minus x. That is nothing but, so if you want to find f of 1 minus x now, you just need to put 1 minus x in the place of x. It is 1 minus of 1 by 1 minus x. That is, if you take the LCM here, you get 1 minus x minus 1 by 1 minus x. 1 minus x minus 1 by 1 minus x. 1 and minus 1 gets cancelled. That is minus x by 1 minus x, or x by x minus 1. So f of 1 by x is x by x minus 1. So that is the answer to this question. So this question, you given that f of x is x minus 1 by x plus 1. You are asked to find f of x. So f of x is nothing but f of x is x minus 1 by x plus 1. So f of x is x minus 1 by x plus 1. What is f of x minus 1 by x plus 1? You just need to put this whole expression in the place of x. That is equal to x minus 1 by x plus 1 minus 1 by x minus 1 by x plus 1 plus 1. So that is equal to, so I'll just take the LCM. So x minus 1 minus x minus 1 divided by x plus 1 divided by x minus 1 plus x plus 1 by x plus 1. This x plus 1 and this x plus 1 gets cancelled. In the numerator, minus x and plus x will get cancelled. In the denominator, minus 1 and plus 1 will get cancelled. So you have in the numerator minus 2 by, in the denominator you have 2x. That is equal to minus 1 by x. So f of x is minus 1 by x. So that's the answer to this question. In this question, you given f of x is equal to x by x minus 1. And you're asked to find f of so on 19 times of x. So in these type of questions, so you need to try to find some pattern. So let us write f of x and f of x, and let us see whether we get some pattern or not. So what is f of x? It is nothing but f of x by x minus 1. That is equal to, so f of x is x by x minus 1. So f of x by x minus 1 is x by x minus 1 divided by x by x minus 1 minus 1. That is equal to x by x minus 1 divided by, if you take the LCM here, x minus x plus 1 by x minus 1. This x minus 1 and x minus 1 gets cancelled, x and x gets cancelled, so you get again x. So if you write f of x, you are again getting x. That is, f is the inverse of itself. F is the inverse of itself. So if you take f of x, this is nothing but f of x. So you're getting again f of x. So that is, if you have an even number of f's, you get x as the answer. If you get odd numbers of f's, you get again f of x as the answer. So now, as you can see in this question, you have 19 f's. It is 18 f's cancel each other consecutively, and you'll be left with 1 f of x here. So this is equal to f of x, which is equal to x by x minus 1. So this will be the answer to this question. In this question, we're given that f is a function defined on 0 to 1, and f of x is equal to x if x is a rational number, and is equal to 1 minus x if x is not a rational number. This f of x is a machine, something like this. So what this machine does is, if a rational number goes inside, it will give the same rational number outside. So if a rational number goes in, If a rational x goes in, x comes out. If an irrational x, that is, if x is not a rational number, it calculates 1 minus x and gives the answer. Now you are asked to find what f of x is. Now let us take two cases. F of x. So as you can very clearly see in this function, if x is rational, x directly comes out, that is, a rational number comes out of this function. And if x is irrational, 1 minus x is also irrational. Hence, if a rational number goes in, rational number comes out. If an irrational number goes in, an irrational number comes out. So let us take two cases. F of x. So what happens if x is rational? So let us say that x is rational. So this will be equal to f of, if x is rational, f of x is nothing but x. So again a rational number is going inside f, the answer is x. That is, if a rational number goes inside f of x, you get x as the answer, which is again rational, and this x goes inside f again, so you again get x as the answer. And if x is not a rational number, f of x will be equal to f of, if x is not a rational number, f of x is 1 minus x, and 1 minus x is again irrational. So what does f do? 1 minus x is again irrational. So what f does is 1 minus of 1 minus x. That is 1 minus 1 plus x. It again gives you x as the answer. So f of x is equal to x if x is rational or irrational. So the answer is x. That's the answer. So in this question, you're given that f of x is x cubed plus 1 if x is negative, x square plus 1 if x is positive. This is a piecewise defined function. So when x goes inside f, it checks whether it is greater than or equal to 0 or less than 0. If it is greater than or equal to 0, this is the operation which happens. If it is negative, this is the operation which happens. And g of x is also a piecewise defined function. It is x minus 1 whole power 1 by 3 if x is less than 1, x minus 1 whole power half if x is greater than or equal to 1. So this is the operation that g of x does. Now what is g of f of x? It is nothing but you have a composite machine where x goes inside f first, the output whatever comes out of f goes inside g, and g does its operation and the final output comes out. So if x goes inside f, what is the answer that you get out? That's the question. So first, x is going inside f. So what f does depends on whether x is positive or negative. So let us do it in cases. So first let us assume that x is greater than or equal to 0. So let us say that a positive number is going inside f. So what is f of x? F of x is nothing but x square plus 1. So if x is greater than or equal to 0, we can very clearly see that x square plus 1, which comes here, is greater than or equal to 1, right? Because if x is greater than or equal to 0, x square is also greater than or equal to 0. X square plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. Now the number that is going inside g, in this case, is greater than or equal to 1. Hence, what is the operation that happens? This is the operation that happens. This is the operation that happens. That is, so what is g of f of x? Nothing but g of x square plus 1. And x square plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. So what happens is, in the place of x, you get x square plus 1. So x square plus 1 minus 1 whole power half. Plus 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. So x square whole power half is mod x. And because x is positive, mod x can be written as x. That is, if x is greater than or equal to 0, if x goes inside these two machines, effectively x comes out of the machine. So g of f of x is equal to x if x is greater than or equal to 0. That's the first case. So the second case, let us take x is less than 0. So if x is negative, this x is going inside f first. So what does f do? F of x is equal to x cube plus 1. Now x is less than 0, hence x cube is less than 0. X cube plus 1 is less than 1. X cube plus 1 is less than 1 because x cube is negative. Now what is g of f of x? It is g of x cube plus 1. Now this x cube plus 1 is less than 1. It is the number which is going inside g is less than 1. So what does g do? G calculates this. It is in the place of x, you put x cube plus 1. X cube plus 1 minus 1 whole power 1 by 3. So plus 1 and minus 1 gets cancelled. That is x cube whole power 1 by 3, which is equal to x again. That is, even if x is less than 0, if x goes in, x comes out. So it is equal to x if x is less than 0 also. That means g of f of x is always equal to x for all real numbers x. In this question, we are given that f of x plus 1 by x is equal to x square plus 1 by x square. In that case, what is f of x? So f of x plus 1 by x is x square plus 1 by x square. So if x plus 1 by x goes inside f, you are getting x square plus 1 by x square. So you need to guess what happens if x goes inside this machine. What comes out? So one of the simplest way to do this is, so by substitution method, let x plus 1 by x is equal to t. So x square plus 1 by x square plus 2 is equal to t square, right? If you square it on both sides, this implies x square plus 1 by x square is equal to t square minus 2. So if you substitute both of this in the given information, f of x plus 1 by x is t is equal to x square plus 1 by x square is t square minus 2. That means if a number t goes inside f, what it does is it calculates t square and subtracts a 2. So what is f of x? If x goes inside, it does the same thing. So x square minus 2. So this will be the value of the function f of x. Thank you.